Hello, how are you? My name's Elizabeth. Welcome to my channel, Embracing the Chaos. Kind of got caught there. Hey, it is what it is. Okay, so I'm being guided to take a walk down memory lane. Yes. So this reading is going to be about a time travel. We're traveling back in time to a time when, probably about a little over a year ago. A year and a month, a year and 2 months ago. That's when it was for me. I don't know what it would be for you, but that's what it feels like a year ago. Okay, there's a lot that's being shown now. This energy has shown up twice today. No, 3 times, and it's been showing up kind of periodically. Not the same exact instance, but the same exact time frame. So, you know the rules of tarot. You take what resonates and you leave what does not. If it doesn't apply, then we simply let it fly. Flip it, switch it, stick it, but we don't force anything to fit in any type of way. Okay, I'm going to turn on some lights here. Okay. Okay, I'm going to be called to the Embracing the Shadow Oracle deck. So this is obviously we're time traveling back to a space when, and we're like recalling something here, and this is allowing us to embrace some shadowy aspect of the self. Now, this would be a time when you were connected to a specific someone from your childhood, someone that you've known for an extremely long time. Okay, you could have punched him in the mouth when you were like 10 years old. That's how well connected you are to this person. So, I haven't a clue what this energy is for or what it's about, so we're just going to time travel and check it out. See why this is coming up. I haven't a clue. Alright, babes. Fear of failure. Mistakes are not the enemy. They are stepping stones toward mastery and understanding. Okay, this deck I'm going to have to read, so let's go on with it. Okay, let's talk about it. Let's talk about this time travel that we're being requested to take at this time. Spiritual bypassing. Avoiding pain with positivity delays growth. Embrace the full spectrum of your emotions. You had to walk away from something. You could have disconnected with someone and you used spiritual bypassing and didn't resolve the emotions that you were feeling at that time. I'm not feeling like there's a reconnect or anything like that. I just feel like you probably danced around the truth here, and there is an element of regret. As far as dealing with that situation. Unexpressed grief. Suppressed sorrow manifests in unexpected ways. Allow yourself to mourn fully. So, you didn't allow yourself the 5 stages of grief when you disconnected from that person during that time span. The perfectionism trap. Seeking flawless leads to self-sabotage. Embrace progress over perfection. I get it. So I kind of feel like at that time you were caught up in that perfectionist loop. Now we're just doing a spiritual time travel back to a time when to pick up and recollect energies, okay? It's not necessarily that we're trying to reconnect with that person, because I don't feel like that's what we're doing. I feel like we have some downtime right now and really focusing on bettering ourselves and being prepared for the next leg of our journey, right? And so that's what this reading is about, is getting into a space where we understand what exactly we did not mourn in that situation. We use spiritual bypass, and we kind of like we didn't grieve at all. And the perfectionism trap is definitely truth. I feel like, unfortunately, at that time, you were in a space that you took certain things to a literal sense. You weren't applying it to your situation in the way that was beneficial for you. You thought that it was. And I feel like at the time you were doing what you perceived to be best for you. And the reason why it's coming back up and it's allowing us this space and time right now to pull that energy back up is so that we can address what we didn't address then, that we use positivity to get through versus actually going through the grieving process of actually relinquishing that connection. The weight of trauma. Stored trauma can create tension, fatigue, and pain. Healing requires releasing, not ignoring. So if you, the perfectionism trap, so someone in this connection, and you, I feel like you as well. I feel like both of you. I feel like you possibly were the one that fell for the perfectionism trap, and you didn't really see that this person was making progress in their soul growth. Yes, this person probably wasn't at the same level that you were at the time. However, they were making progress, but it wasn't to your liking. Because the weight of trauma, sometimes we don't realize that others' trauma, the way they view it, may outweigh what you think it should weigh. And I kind of feel like maybe that's kind of what was playing out in this situation. And I feel like the person that you were connected to really did try. They did. They tried. And they did, they were quite successful in their travels as far as the journey that they chose. Now, I'm pretty sure that they regressed and they've gone back to the same old routine, whatever. That's not for you, okay? When you disconnected for whatever reason you disconnected. Anything beyond that point is out of your control. It has nothing to do with you. Even before that, you really don't have any control over it. However, I feel like at that time you were really trying to control the narrative, trying to appear. But it's not that you were doing it in a bad way. I don't feel like you were doing it to keep up the Joneses. I feel like you were trying to step up your game and get to a higher playing field. You know what I mean? You're trying to get to a higher plane. You were trying to ascend. And the spiritual growth within the person that you were connected to, I feel like was kind of weighing you down. It was kind of holding you back. And then when it came time for the disconnect, instead of dealing with the pain of it, this person actually succumbed to the pain of it, which is not your problem. Okay, they obviously don't know how to handle this 5 stages of grief, and obviously now we're in a space now where it's time that we revisit this so that we can really understand. Healing takes time. It does. Progress is not always linear. Trust that even setbacks are part of the process. And I feel like that's what this person's done. And I feel like the perfectionism trap keeps coming up. So you were kind of hoping for this person to have moved along a little bit further. And with it not being linear, I feel like this is the reason why we're doing that time travel back to the time when. So that you can get a better understanding. I feel like there's questions as to why that connection did not fully manifest. I feel like a good part of it manifested and it was working out beautifully, but it couldn't stay intact or something. It bit my mosquitoes. Now, mind you, it was 14 degrees last night and I'm inside my home and now I'm getting bit by a mosquito in January. Anyways, enough about that. The wounded heart. Acknowledge and tend to the past emotional wounds. Healing begins with self-compassion. Unfortunately, you did not grieve this. You're still wounded by this. You could have been wounded by other things of the past, which is why this connection could not fully come in and play itself out. The mirror effect. What frustrates you in others is a reflection of something unhealed within you. I feel like a lot of that was going on within that connection. In fact, I know it was. Okay? Let's get one more out there. Larry, we're going to love this one, the perfectionism trap. It came out. Seeking flawlessness leads to self-sabotage, so you probably sabotage that connection. Embrace progress over perfection. So this person made mistakes. The setbacks were them falling back into old patterns or falling back into some old routine that you thought had healed and you wanted it to be perfect the first time. Right? Just because you can doesn't mean that others can. I did pull a different tarot deck because I've been reading cards, trying to get ready. I've got a trip I'm fixing to embrace for my birthday. And so I've been reading cards all day. So I didn't want some of the old energy to fall back into this reading. Because this is, even though this is old energy, past energy, I didn't want some of that to come in. Anyways, let's jump into this deck here. Let's see. Queen of Cups. This is definitely something that you had love for. You felt vulnerable in it. This is something you or possibly need to feel more compassionate about. I feel like you did have a lot of compassion, a lot of love towards this individual. However, it was a karmic. It was a karmic. It was supposed to change things. At least that's the way you felt, right? Temperance. You needed to be more patient with yourself at this place. At this point in time where we are right now revisiting this. This is about you giving yourself grace. Allowing yourself the space you need to heal from this. Allowing yourself to relinquish this from the heart. Yeah, because you're still wounded by it. Three of Swords. It still bothers you. Whether you admit it or not, it still bothers you. So I see you actively trying to find a space to heal this. Temperance and Three of Swords. To heal from it. To heal this wound. Well, you're going to have to... You didn't express that it saddened you. So if you're experiencing lower back pain, that's where that stems from. That's the weight of that. The weight of carrying this it's like manifesting in the back. That's what I'm getting. Queen of Swords, I speak the truth, babes. You cut this loose and you went in a different direction. This was a high level commitment. High level of commitment. That this was like a soul bond that you had with someone. There was a belief system and the belief system, I believe, was the perfectionism trap. It was that belief system and the spiritual bypassing that you had to learn. And that's what you've learned. You learn not to do that. Are you questioning something else? You're questioning something else here. King of Cups. This person was a vibrational match to you. What? Chariot? Okay, so with the Chariot and the Nine of Swords there, I feel like you're trying to bring balance to that connection within you so that you can release that energy so that you can move forward with your life, so that you can because you have someone that is coming towards you, that is opening, that is vulnerable, that is compassionate, that has love, or is wanting to commit their heart space to you. And you know this. But you're on the reserve, you're on the back burner because of the fact this past situation, this past partnership of yours needs to be reviewed, which that's what we're doing now, so that we can heal it, so that this would allow freedom in the heart space to actually continue to allow this King of Cups to come towards you. Because apparently, from what I understand, you're at a blockage, you're at a standstill because of this energy, not understanding what this is. So that's why we're dealing with it right now. Okay. Page of Pentacles. You have an opportunity. It looks to me like it might already be on the table with someone. If not, it will be. It's a solid offer. Okay, this is someone that has thought about it, and they're sure the idea is there. Okay, to build into something, and it would be very successful here. But it's going to require you to take some kind of action. Three of Pentacles fell on the table, so we're going to keep it. Give me another. King of Swords. You're going to have to accept the truth. You're going to have to speak some kind of truth. I'm not saying that you have to go and find that person and say something to them. No. You don't have to necessarily do that. If you want to do that, great. That's your choice, sweetheart. But I feel like in this space, Page of Swords. Someone could be watching you. Someone could be learning from you. Oh, Eight of Pentacles, how to bring stuck stagnant energy up. So this stuck stagnant energy that you've been holding on to, that you've been dragging around with you. This person could be watching you in some way. Whether it's be, within the community and they live down the street from you, they've seen you in passing, they watch your social media, they have some way of witnessing you. They are learning from you. Okay? They're needing you to show them how to be released. So in order for them to be released, you're going to have to go through the grieving process so that they can move on. Because right now, energetically, you kind of have them bound because of who you are, sweethearts. Just because of who you are. Four Cups. Tell me more. You're not happy. I feel like you're not happy with the way that this person deceived you in some way, and they did something on impulse, and you've seen right through it. I feel like you're kind of unhappy that they were actually successful at it. The sun's being shown on it. The sun's bringing it up. So the masculine energy is bringing it up. Like, hey, let's talk about this because we need to get past this. Ace of Pentacles. Someone could have offered you something and it was rejected. Rejected. Someone's learning from their betrayals. Maybe that's what you're doing. You're learning from this space of being betrayed in this situation so that you're no longer holding on to said energies and holding yourself back from taking opportunities as they come in because you're too busy distracted by pains of the past, things of the past. I don't feel like you really been super focused on this situation, but that's the reason why it's coming up right now, because there's been enough time and there's been enough space. We can take it down off that shelf. We can open up that box. We can lay it all out on the table. We can take our feelings and put them over here. Decompartmentalize. We can look at the facts on the table, which that's what we do in a tarot reading. It's what a tarot reader does. Sets the emotions aside and just reads the energy. So we're putting everything out on the table right now. We're putting all the facts out there so that we can truly see how we're feeling, so that we can grieve this and we can move on. Emperor. Because you have an Emperor that sees you as the star, lovely. But they're blocked. They are blocked from coming to you until we get through this. And we'll get through this, and then, babes, your Emperor can come in. Two of Swords. The choice you made was difficult. You're really upset with this person because of what they did to you. It wounded you and it hurt in a major way. I understand that. There was a lot of conflict, and you're needing to recall your energy even from the conflict, the many conflicts that you had over the past year when it comes to this energy. Anytime that this energy would surface up, you stuffed it down, you pushed it away. Anytime this person tried to connect with you, you're like, no, 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 no. You don't want to connect with this person. Okay? So you don't seek out closure the way that others do, which is good. I commend you for that, because not many can move on with their life without getting closure from said energies. I feel like this person is probably wanting closure from you, to be honest with you, with the Queen of Wands there. You're wanting to be confident in the choices that you make, because you're having small victories here. Things are really starting to look up for you in your life, and you're wanting to make sure that nothing's going to hold you back from moving on. So I feel like that's the reason why Spirit's bringing this up, so that we can discuss this, and this is something that would hold you back from being vulnerable, from opening up in the heart space, because there's still some kind of regrets and remorse that needs to be let free. We have a King of Pentacles here, the Moon. Hold up. Let me pause this a minute. Okay, so we have a King of Pentacles here that hid something. They hid some kind of addiction. Maybe you didn't know that. They were lying about their addiction. They were lying about what they were really involved in. And I feel like that's what you need to know, so that you can let this go. You're holding yourself back for something that you're not even aware of. There's been a tower moment. It looks like possibly in this person's life. Something's happened to them. This person obsessively thinks that something's going to transpire between the two of you. Is that what you're thinking? Is that what you're holding on to? Once you shift your perception, something's going to swoop in. Something's going to swoop in and change things drastically for you as far as the level of connection. 7 of Wands. There's 7-7. Page of Cups. So somebody's made a difficult decision here in the 3D that they didn't tell you about, or they're at a crossroads, and they're obsessively thinking about if they can just plant some seeds, if they can just get through to you, okay? But they're blocked. You have them blocked from being able to communicate this to you with that Page of Cups here. This is giving like Page of Cups with the 6 of Cups. This is definitely an inner child wound. Y'all, the two of you could have had a similar inner child wound. Okay, so they're telling me, and I was picking up on this in my readings earlier today. I'm not sure if I addressed it or not. But there's a lot of recall of contracts that are going on, and this looks to me like this is a recall of that contract. That's the energy that I'm getting now. This person was meant to step up. You have some things that you need to clear up. But I feel like you're not going to fall into that same trap of thinking that something has to be perfect. Or someone has to be perfect to fit your needs. There's like, you have this set mold that this person is supposed to stand in. What happens if they're taller than that? What happens if they're squattier than that? You know? And I feel like we're needing to shift our perception as to what that looks like. And be a little more flexible. when it comes to certain energies, especially when you get into a connection with someone that is on a healing journey. They are putting in the work. It may not look the way that you perceive it to, or you would like to perceive it to, but that does not mean that the work isn't being done. I do not feel like that this person's what you're connecting to. I feel like the contract is null and void at this time. It's just about you processing it finally, so that you can heal the wound within the self. Because there's a bit of, like I said at the beginning, there's a bit of regret, little remorse here. You kind of feel bad. I feel like you feel bad for not allowing this person to heal at their own rate. You regret in the way that things ended. And we're needing to let that go. Because energetically, we're still hanging on to that. Even if it's, you're not trying to attach, you're not even wanting to talk to this person, you're not wanting anything to do with this person, you're still holding that person back. And I feel like it's time to cut that cord. Set them free. Set them free. Let's talk about this wounded heart. Three of Pentacles in the reverse. You're upset because it wasn't a solid foundation to begin with. There was a lot of things that happened prior to this time frame a year ago. Okay. There was lack of communication. There was lack of willingness to work things out. And so I feel like you kind of harbor a little bit of resentment towards yourself, not towards them necessarily, that you didn't stay and work it out. You can't beat yourself up over the shoulda, coulda, wouldas. Okay? You just can't. And I don't think you consciously are aware that you do that. Two of Pentacles, King of Cups. Seeing the King of Wands there. Eight of Cups in the reverse. No longer feeling rejected. So you're no longer feeling rejected? No longer wanting to reject or feel rejected because it didn't work out. You're not wanting to harbor any kind of bad energy when it comes to this person. I feel like you truly want to set them free. There's a mouse in here, and I'm going to get it. It just showed up last night, and it's making me mad because I can hear it. I am going to get it, one way or another. Mr. Mousy Mouse. I seen him the other day run up and how he got inside my house. Now I'm going to get him. Hope you can't hear him, but I sure can. It's not cool. Tell me about this Eight of Cups in the reverse. You no longer want to feel rejected. You know what? Yeah, because that no longer... If you're not able to release yourself... What? Whoa, what? What? Someone here feels like the grass wasn't greener on the other side. They should have been watering their own garden. And now they feel feelings of apathy. Maybe this is the wounded heart. I'm going to pull some more. Someone here feels that way. It's the stuck person. Are you the one that's stuck? I don't feel like you're stuck. I feel like you're the one that's doing good. Things are starting to happen in your world. Truly. Your manifestations are coming in. So now, acknowledging intended past emotional wounds. It didn't work out. You don't want to feel rejected. You actually feel feelings of apathy. Oh, because this person didn't tend to their own garden. They didn't work with you. had they communicated that for some reason they felt the need to go drink, indulge in their addictions or whatever the case may be, had they actually talked to you, then yeah, maybe y'all could have worked through that. But I mean, here we are back to the shoulda, coulda, wouldas. We don't want that kind of energy. That's what caused you to feel apathy, because this person wasn't really, truly either that or you weren't. And now you feel like 8 of Cups. You feel rejected. You don't want to feel rejected by it anymore. You're wanting to recall your energy. 4 of Cups. It's pulling that back in. 7 of Wands. Because you're wanting to be freed from it. You're standing up for what you believe in. And what you believe in, you believe truly that what you were doing was the right thing at the right time during that time frame. And that's fine. That's fine. You're saying, like with the 7 of Wands, I stood up. And you believed in that connection. You believed in that person. This sucker's big. I'm going to pause this. Hold on, I got to get him. Okay. I didn't get him. I just stomped around a little bit, but I don't know how I would get him at this point. Won't worry about that another day. 7 of Wands. You stood up for this person. You stood up for this connection. You stood by this person, and they did not water their own garden. They chose a different route. That is not on you, sweetheart. Don't carry the weight of that. Allow the transformation to take place. Allow things to calm down. Feel confident in what's transpiring in your life and how things are going. Maybe I don't want to put that out there either. This person was on the fence anyways. I feel like this reading is just allowing you to get off to take yourself off the hook, okay? So that you're not dangling yourself and carrying this around with you like you did something wrong. You kind of did, but you kind of didn't. It was a two-way thing. Okay? This person was, guilty for not abiding by the connection as it was. Okay? King of Cups, Queen of Cups. Hold on, I gotta sneeze. Hold on. I feel like you're just as much in this person's heart space as this person's in your heart space. Just saying. I'm just gonna put it out there. You could have been married to this person. Could have gone through a separation. If nothing else, then you were definitely devoted and compassionate and very committed to one another. And it broke your damn heart. It broke your heart. For some of you, this person's trying to circle back with the World card there. I feel like for some of you, for the majority of you, you're just trying to close out the cycle so that you can move on. Let's see what comes next. So that you can heal. Tell me about this perfectionism trap. For some of you, there is a reconnect. There is a possibility, if that's what you choose, to reconnect with this person. It's hidden from you. It's being held back until something changes. Within that person, King of Pentacles. That's not for everyone. Okay? Just a little bit more. Chariot. There's forward movement. Okay, that's all that means. There's progress being made. We're not on the hamster wheel. We don't want to be on that hamster wheel. Okay, there's definitely progress being made. And here's 2 cards of balance, the 2 of Pentacles. So things in the spiritual realm are lining up. Okay, in order to do that, we have to be balanced, and for what's coming towards us. And that's the reason why we're embracing the progress that we've made. Not necessarily what this this reading is not about that past person. It's just about you and the way you were connected to it and recalling your energy so that you can be balanced for what's coming for you, what's coming in. As to not bring a tower to it so it doesn't fall away again. So you've been in a space where you're like, really have been reflecting back on your past relationships to better understand you. And that's good. I commend you for that. Really, truly, I do. Because that is not an easy feat. Not at all. There's an internal reflection that I'm just now talking about. So that you can heal something within the self. Okay, sneeze again. Hold on. I'm back. Hey. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if that incense is burning me or what. Tell me about this hermit. Yeah, so you can work through the energy so you can master something within yourself. You understand now. You understand that during that time, things did fall into the perfectionism trap. You did have a role in that. Okay? And I feel like you've embraced and you've made a lot of progress from that. You're no longer looking and expecting people to be perfect. Especially when it comes to connections. So that, because you're still looking for your 10 of Cups. Still waiting to be emotionally fulfilled, but within a connection. It's more like it. I don't feel like you're looking for it. I don't feel like because you're in hermit mode. You've isolated yourself. You're trying to bring something into balance so that you can get out of hermit mode. Yeah, so that you can start planting. This is about mastering the ability to plant seeds and for them to take off. And I feel like you've been doing that. So you're no longer expecting things to be perfect in any situation. This was the catalyst for that. This is what taught you about that. I don't even think you realize it. That's why this reading's here. That's why this reading's here. Well, 2 of Cups. You're waiting for the right connection. What's funny is I had to stop myself because I heard perfection. The perfect connection. There's no such thing as a perfect connection, sweetheart. Maybe that's what we're needing to change. There's no such thing as a perfect relationship. There just isn't. You have all the answers that you need at any time. All you gotta do is tap and ask the question. It's like touching the Google button. AI, Gemini, whatever. Asking Gemini. That's kind of like, you have that ability without the internet. Just FYI. What is your intuition telling you? You've been carrying the weight of that for a while. You've been bouncing around with that. You really have. You've been wrapped around the axle when it comes to this, and you just haven't seen it. Your intuition's been trying to tell you. That's the reason why it's been coming up, so that it can be changed, sweetheart. You could be receiving some kind of communication that could cause you to feel stuck. Oh, because you could be putting limitations on yourself when it comes to connection. So if someone else is advancing towards you, or will be, I feel like they will be. I don't feel like they have yet. But not necessarily this energy. It does not feel like it's that energy. It could be, but it may not. Hey. It could be this person showing up in different energy. Okay? You're about to receive something here. What you're about to receive is something that you can sink your teeth into, baby. You can plant roots with, where things can grow. The soil is fertile in this place, whatever you're about to receive. It's going to reciprocate, and the divine's bringing it to you, and that's because you have overcome this perfectionism trap. You need to see that for yourself. That's a beautiful thing. Absolutely beautiful. Okay? All right, my lovelies. I do appreciate the time that you share with me. I do hope this helps. So, if you have not already, hit that like button. And also, if you're not subscribed to the channel, subscribe, so you don't miss out on any future content. And until we meet again, toodly-doos.